Hello everybody, welcome to the new and improved scene here for the Moto In-Depth preview review shows that we're going to be doing pretty consistently. I thought I would get a little bit more into it, at least put a little effort into these videos, yeah, hopefully you guys like the new scene, everything like that all around. Yeah, let's hop right into this thing. We've got some fun results to go over, a great week, and yeah, I guess let's go ahead and hop right in. We'll talk about the 450s first. We'll kind of go in order in terms of finishing position, and Jet obviously took the win here in Detroit. Had his fastest lap. It wasn't the fastest of the race. I believe it looks like it might have been second fastest, but yeah, Jet Lawrence was absolutely flying. He was doing a good job staying consistent. Did have a few mistakes, but so did everybody else. It was the first tacky track of the season. A lot of adjusting to do, a lot of figuring out your bike setup for the future rounds. So obviously a lot's going to change upcoming here. We might see some other guys do a little bit better and a little bit of guys do a little bit worse. Dylan Ferrandis was specifically one I watched that we'll talk about in a little bit, and what his bike was doing and what it wasn't doing specifically. Eli Tomac, a huge question mark. We'll have to speculate on that, but again, Jet Lawrence, if he gets a lead hole shot, anything like that, I think you can expect him to stay out front unless he crashes and goes down, has his little concerns or moments there, but I don't think he'll have a lot of those. I think that it's a lot of just staying consistent for him now. If he gets past, he gets past, no worries. If he stays just 2 seconds in front of Chase or Ken or whoever it is in second, I think he's just fine with that too. So as long as he has the leading spot, as long as he's not risking anything, I think that he won't risk anything. I don't think he's gonna come from fifth and try to hold, or I don't think he's gonna come for fifth, try to go for first within the first 3 laps. I think he'll kind of back down as the season goes on. This is a much needed win. A lot of security comes with it, in my opinion, and the confidence is back. Jet Lawrence, he said Jet Lawrence really hasn't showed up to the last few races. I think those mud races really knocked his mentality off. Now he's done it again. He got the whole shot. He got the free space up front, kind of figured himself out over the course of that main. I was kind of disappointed in the guy who finished in second, who we'll hit on in just a second. But overall, great ride here for Jet Lawrence. I truly believe if he starts inside the top 3 at every single main event, every single Triple Crown, it doesn't matter. I think he can honestly go undefeated the rest of the year, but that's despite my personal beliefs. That's just a hot take you got there for Jet Lawrence. And we'll move to Chase Sexton, who was a little disappointing. I'm not gonna lie, you kind of saw him. It's a tough one for him. I think he's taking the Dungey route. He's getting good starts, which is good, and honestly, I expected a little bit more early on from Chase, but it looked like he just set into a pace and maybe tried to attack a couple times. Didn't really work out, and Chase ended up ultimately backing down, if you will. I don't think he's the same guy he was last year. Mentality is obviously a little bit better, more mature, and as unexciting as that is, it's better for his championship. He didn't push the issue. He did not rush the he didn't make it high stakes for himself, is what I'm trying to say here. He didn't go ahead. He didn't just try to be the aggressive rider he was last year, and like I said, push the issue and push the front end, and it never really ended up good for him. So I guess second place is something good. I think he's figuring out consistency. I think he's realized Jet's had a rough go at it to start, but he also knows if out of anyone in this class, you cannot let Jet get on a roll. That's why I was kind of surprised he didn't attack earlier than he did. He saw an opportunity or two after a Jet a Jet mistake. He said that he was thinking about it. He made probably multiple attacks on him, but it just never really worked out, and he pushed the issue and he made a mistake. So it wasn't really a whole lot of breathing room for Chase in second, and there wasn't a whole lot of speed for him compared to Jet Lawrence. Now, Ken Roczen put in the 2 fastest times of the race, I believe, back-to-back laps to start of this main event. He was really, really good early on between lappers, rutting, everything like that. Ken just kind of fell off the pace a little bit, finished 10 seconds behind Chase Sexton, so 14 seconds off Jet, and it is what it is. Honestly, Kenny, I think, has as good a shot as anyone to win a race this year. Not win the chip, he's had a rough start to it, so it's not really looking 100, it's not like, oh, Ken Roczen, he's in this thing. I think he's taken himself out of it with a poor first few rounds here, but he's really starting to rebound nicely and getting some luck on his side to finish out his season and hopefully push for top 5 in the championship overall by the end of it. Cooper Webb's looking like he's staying pretty consistent and doing a good job getting up in positions, through the course of a race. Jason Anderson, same thing. AP, really, we'll get to him. He was a little confusing, I'm not gonna lie. Hunter is starting to put together a little bit, and there's just bunches of guys we can go over here, but we'll keep it nice and brief with Ken Roczen. And you know, told you guys what I think about him. He's got good speed, and like I said, I think he's got as good a chance as any when it comes to winning races. So Ken Roczen finishes third. Expect more of that from him, and if he gets a whole shot and sets the pace early, and Jet doesn't get a great start, Chase might not get the best start, a lot can happen and Ken can win. Cooper Webb, the steady Eddie, the racecraft, the cut downs, everything to talk about here with Cooper Webb, as he finished 20 seconds off the lead and really had a nice race in my opinion. I don't remember exactly where he started, but he had to make some passes and he made it through the course of the race right back up to top 4. You can tell he's there for it. He wants to win this championship. He wants to be at least included in this championship, and we're seeing a really nice Cooper Webb right now. And like I said, he was more of a steady Eddie than he is fast. He was a second off, like his fastest lap was a second off Jet's fastest lap, and like 1.5 seconds off of the fastest lap. So never really saw Cooper turn in any burners, mostly because he was in traffic for most of the race, but did a nice job working up to 4th. Couldn't quite get that to that top 3 group, but did you know, result and finish ahead of Jason, Aaron, Dylan, and Eli Tomac ultimately. So Cooper Webb, just doing a good job, and I think steady Eddie's the way to put it right now. He's putting together his past experience in the class and his consistent championships, where I should say his championships where he remained consistent through the season. He's putting that to work here, along with the new Yamaha speed. It could be a dangerous combo heading down the line here for some of these guys, and he's really pushing for a top 3 championship spot right now. He's kind of on the AP train, where you don't really know what to expect, but you can expect good from them right now. They're hot, and I think Cooper can win any given race, and especially as we head East Coast, we're going to see some bigger ruts. So I think we head back west for a few rounds, and then Coop might be able to get some speed there, and then we'll see the consistency, the starts, and the speed really come out in the East rounds later in the season, where Cooper Webb thrives and shines. He'll be an interesting one to follow. Hopefully he keeps his mentality up, his confidence up, and his momentum going. Cooper Webb going to be a fun one to keep tabs on through the course of the season. I think I say this every episode, but it's just he's not a poet when it comes to like the course of a championship, but all 17 rounds Cooper Webb's a guy to watch. Jason Anderson, El Hombre, was a bit off the pace. You could tell he's probably a little less comfortable than some of the other guys on their bikes. Wasn't really pushing the issue, wasn't a whole lot faster than a lot of guys like he was at Anaheim. So we might see a little bit of a bike change for him heading east in a few rounds. He might want to start, you know, heading up and try to train for that while we're still here at west, so he can prepare better for east. But yeah, Jason Anderson, he looked like he was falling off the pace a little bit. I think he was even back, like even in 7th, was able to work his way up with Cooper Webb, and actually ended up getting passed by Aaron. Jason said, no you don't, and just got right back in front of him and really brought it to him. So I was really happy to see there's no quit there from Jason Anderson. I'm not saying there has been in the past, but there's been times where he just isn't on it and doesn't feel like he should be. So sometimes you see him just kind of fade back, and I was expecting honestly a 7th place, 8th place finish for him. Then he actually kicked it up mid-moto, which you don't tend to see really anymore. Used to see that quite a bit. It's like, oh, Ken Roczen in 5th is having a good push or something like that back on his like Red Bull KTM days. But now we don't really see a whole lot of that. It's such a fast class. It's kind of, you know, either a guy's working through the pack and some guys, you know, even falling back. It feels like there's no like resurgence in a race, in a single race. But for Jason Anderson, there seemed to be that little spark that happened mid-moto after Aaron Plessinger got him after a little mistake. Jason Anderson said no, had some nice style. He was a little loose on the bike, and I think his riding technique really suited Detroit well, while his bike maybe didn't. And the only reason I'm speculating and saying his bike really didn't, I didn't expect for him to be as slow as he was. And that being said, he still finished 5th, and that's a great night for him. And I think you can, he's another guy. I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 11 or 10 guys that can realistically finish top 5 in this championship. So it's a huge push, but in my opinion, Jason Anderson is hot right now. He's riding really comfortably. You can tell he really is enjoying what he's doing. He's grinding all throughout the week. He said he's really enjoying that part of it right now, where he just likes the grind. He likes to just go out and get better every single day, and Jason Anderson is putting that the practice work to the weekend here in the night show, where he got better mid-moto, figured stuff out, stayed in front of AP, and he didn't latch on to Cooper Webb, but it was fun to watch. And yeah, Jason Anderson did a really good job in my opinion, and is having quite the underrated season in my eyes. Honestly, a lot of the attention started to come when it was the scuffle there with Jet, but ever since that and even before then, I don't think Anderson was like a guy to sleep on. I really felt like there was this resurgence after 2023. We head into 2024. My expectations were actually generally high for Jason Anderson. I didn't think he was hanging him up. I didn't think he's on the downtrend. I just really think that you know, injuries, I mean, he had a serious, I think it was a neck injury or an upper back injury that really, you know, I think guys just forget about. But Supercross wasn't great for him last year after 2022, where he won 7 of those races. So Jason, honestly, such a good ride, and I can't wait to watch more of him. He's probably the most fun guy to watch right now, probably other than Jet and Chase. Ken could be fun at times when he's railing corners, but other than that, it's Ando all the way for me. I think he's actually my favorite to watch mid-moto, because Jet Lawrence is on cruise control, right? But Jason Anderson is just absolutely just fun to watch. All right, if you just watch him mid-moto, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Aaron Plessinger, what a championship ride he had. Not actually. I thought he had the chance to be the 4th place guy instead of Cooper Webb. He and Webb kind of started next to each other, came through the pack together, and just started to kind of push a little late. Aaron actually made it past Jason, gave him the inside on the triple, heading on the backside of that section where they have that little roll triple jump into the straightaway with the start straight there. So AP just kind of let him go, and that was kind of surprising. Maybe he felt a little bit more comfortable than Jason. Probably thought, hey, Jason will, 1, either make a mistake, or 2, will fall off the pace. I'm faster. And Aaron and ultimately ended up finishing less than a second behind Jason Anderson, so it was kind of just stuck to his back for the rest of this race, while Cooper Webb was able to break out and go away to 4th. And so AP really missed an opportunity here at a top 5 or perhaps top 4 finish, and trying to salvage his championship after not a good start. He's done a good job all season long at staying consistent. This might actually be the worst finish of the season for Aaron Plessinger. That's how good he's been, and he's been you know, good with the red plate, but I don't think he came here to play. I don't think he was I thought he would be more of a push the issue guy than he was. He ultimately ended up coming out and was just fine sitting behind Anderson. It felt like he was a little you know, I wouldn't say ticked off about it, but he was a little bummed about it, a little bummed out. So unfortunate for him after the race. That, I mean, he obviously probably had an opportunity or could flash the front wheel at Jason Anderson, but that's probably the last thing you want to do. But if you're in the championship race and you want to win a championship, Aaron Plessinger, I'd like to see a little bit more urgency. But other than that, love the guy. Obviously, you can't hate Aaron Plessinger. I don't think you could ever hate Aaron Plessinger. Such a good character and so good for the sport. Held the red plate and held it with high praise, and I think he is not done yet. I think he has a lot more in the tank and a lot more in store for the fans here. So Aaron Plessinger, get ready to watch him kind of ride. We go west again. We'll see if he can get right back on it. Some good starts ahead of Aaron Plessinger would be nice, and we'll see how he steps up to the plate here after losing the red plate pretty surely. I'm pretty sure about that. And a level down from the guys that we were just talking about, we kind of get to Dylan Ferrandis, and the one thing I'll talk about him and his bike. He wanted a Honda for so long, and understandably so. I mean, you obviously have preference. It's rider preference, and he said he wanted a Honda. He got on the Honda, and he's doing great. He's exceeding expectations in every single way possible, in my opinion. I didn't expect him to be this good, but after watching him at Anaheim, I thought that he'd actually be pretty good. Looked really good at the test track. He was a flying at the test track guy, and as much as I didn't want to believe it, I did believe it. He's very much a comfort guy. You can tell just through the course of his career, when he's comfortable, he's not unstoppable, but he's got some good lap times. He's got it down. One thing that just really is weird right now about Dylan and his bike, the bike doesn't go low. The bike, he can't stay low. One, he's either not scrubbing for comfort reasons, confidence reasons, whatever, danger reasons. Maybe Dylan's nursing a shoulder injury and it sucks to kind of put his left shoulder down. I don't know, but he just doesn't stay low. He's literally jumping up, and he just looks like a B-class rider just at the local track, where he's just staying up, and there's no effort to stay that low. He's not doing the jet and chase where they're pushing the bike through the section, where he's keeping the front wheel down and he's kind of keeping level. He is literally floating, and that's wasting him so much time. And he was probably better and could have stayed up in front, because I believe he was like 5th or 4th even at one point. I think more 5th. But Dylan ended up just kind of letting guys go after they were just faster because of their ability to stay a little bit lower than him. So Dylan's bike either struggling suspension wise, maybe needs to stiffen it up, but maybe it wasn't the best idea. I honestly couldn't tell you. I'm not James Stewart. I've never ridden at a very high level, or let alone a high level at all, but I've been watching for a while, and Dylan Ferrandis just really hasn't impressed in terms of like raw speed. He's not a guy that's going to come out, he's going to put up your fastest qualifying, and he's going to be a guy like, if he gets a whole shot, watch out for Dylan, because he's had these little things that are kind of harming him, especially over the course of a whole main event, that really makes you kind of not doubt, but I would say like it lowers your expectations for sure. And only watching him kind of fade back after he's losing time, and you see most of the passes were actually set up because guys were just staying lower than him. So Ferrandis, whatever it is, probably just got to dial in the bike, and once he does that, I mean, I'm not saying he's scary, I'm not saying he's a championship threat, I'm saying he's a top 5 threat. He can be a thorn in these guys' sides that are actually going for these consistent top 5 finishes, like AP, like Jason Anderson. If Dylan Ferrandis can sneak in a top 4 finish every here and there, that can piss guys off more than you know. Ferrandis had a rough go at it to start, but I think he's showed glimpses of great, and well, I mean, I can wait. Like, it's not one of those, I can't wait to see what he does, motocross, whatever. I'm not the biggest, I'll be honest right now, I'm not the biggest Dylan Ferrandis fan, and I think a lot of people, I don't know, I feel like they don't really look at the history. I think it's more of a current state sort of thing. Like, we're seeing Jet Lawrence, once he wins, the crowd goes wild for him. But, you know, when the guy was losing, everyone's piling on him. So, I don't know. We'll see where the sport goes in terms of, like, as it gets more well-known, we'll see a little bit more diehards get involved, and we'll see guys have their likes and dislikes. And unfortunately for me, Ferrandis is just a dislike, honestly. Yeah. No offense to Dylan, man. I mean, you ride like a bat out of hell, and just certain things, you know. We all have our favorites, and we all have our you know, dislikes, and like I said, we all have our likes and dislikes, whatever. Hunter Lawrence is a like of mine, and I think he is bound for not a breakout ride, but a good start. I would love to see what he could do with a good start. He's not nearly as fast as some of the guys at the top. I think he's a bit off the pace in terms of like lap times, just never really has had the opportunity though. I think he needs to put himself in better spots, both qualifying and in the heat races, to get himself a better gate pick, to just overall show what he's got. I think he can be a podium guy at some point this year. I think truly a top 5 guy. I think that's almost a given. Like, give me that bet that Hunter Lawrence at some point this season finishes top 5. I will put like a lot of money. Like, I'll put a lot of money on Hunter Lawrence finishing top 5 at some point in this season, because it is a long season. People seem to forget that it's a current state sort of sport right now, where we're seeing like, oh, Justin Cooper was really good, he's gonna be good. Once he's bad, he's like, he's bad. So it's just like a thing right now where Hunter Lawrence is just not a consensus high guy, and Hunter needs to flip a switch. And they talked about it a lot between Jet and Hunter, and this offseason we heard a lot of the talk, like we saw what Eli did. Staying consistent might be better. Yeah, 100% it is, especially for a rookie. You want to stay healthy, you want to live throughout the season. But Hunter, man, you gotta, like, I don't know, you gotta, like I said, put yourself in a better spot and show these boys what you got. I mean, he has taken a front wheel to someone, or no, I think he actually has taken a front wheel from someone. I don't think he's ever put himself in a spot where he's messing with some of these dudes. I think he respects them a lot. I think his racecraft's still good. I think he's still learning and still transitioning, which is good. But like I said, I would put any amount of money to, like, I'd bank on Hunter Lawrence finishing top 5 at any point in the season. Got speed it up a little bit with Justin Cooper, a guy that just shows flashes, looks really good for a race or two, then has a 9th place, 10th place finish where you're just not really super impressed. And that's kind of just been his season so far, shown glimpses. He's definitely a part of this next wave of 450 riders, though. I think he'll be like a there's no really comp for him right now. Maybe the AP, the guys, I don't know. Justin Cooper just seems to be, like, honestly, I think he's really fast. I do believe that. I do believe Justin Coop could be finish inside the podium sometime this year. Give me a triple crown where he gets 3 good starts, and he's typically a good starter, but honestly, just really didn't see it from him. Maybe heading west, he'll have some more luck, but he's, like I mentioned, shown enough flashes, more than enough, for me to believe in the talent and the speed there, and over the course of the season, he should only really get better, and come outdoors, I'm really excited to see what he does. Eli Tomac in 10th, a press release came out saying that he wasn't comfortable on the bike, and that was the team manager that came out and said that. So it's terrible, honestly, in my opinion, the way that, like, I don't know, corners looked awful for him. Deeper in the, like, outside corners, that's where it really seemed to hinder him. He was still doing some of the rhythms. It wasn't like he got hurt or anything. It was like there was, like, maybe his forks started leaking. There's no real reason. There's a lack of answers here in this Eli Tomac. That's why I said we have to speculate a lot of this. We have to kind of, talk about it, because we need to do some problem solving here. We don't know what happened. So let's try to break it down. Tomac doing a really good job setting some good laps, not great, some good laps out there, like some Cooper Webb type numbers where he's just kind of staying there. It was bound to be a good race for him. Kind of fell off the pace early. Chase Sexton was able to kind of bridge a gap there, or not bridge a gap, but he was able to build a gap, and Eli was not able to bridge that gap and overcome a little bit of it. Instead, he just kept falling backwards, and it was at a certain point where he just literally looked like he gave up. He gave Justin Barcia positions. He just wasn't himself. Eli Tomac, hopefully, he talked about A1. He said he felt stuck. He felt like he was doing his best. Maybe he felt like he was the fast as he could go, or as he was going as fast as he could go without, honestly, taking it over the top and unfortunately hurting himself. So Eli Tomac did the smart thing. It kind of held back, but this really is a concern for me. I don't like this from Eli Tomac. I don't like what this brings around on him, his name, his championship, his whole, like, last season legacy sort of thing he's got going here. So Tomac, we need a rebound. Maybe I had this theory, which honestly is what it is. I don't know how accurate this is going to be here, but you think about what he said at A1. He said, we switched to something I was super uncomfortable with, and then once we got back to my old stuff, I was feeling better. Now, maybe his old stuff felt a little old for him. He wanted to transition to some of that new stuff, and it really didn't work out come main event time. So that could also be a thing, but it seems very, like, not far-fetched, but maybe a long shot on that theory. And so maybe we'll see him go back to his old stuff, then back to the new stuff. When he's on the new stuff, he struggles in the main, but works in the heat better than his old stuff. It's all speculation right now. We have nothing other than a press release saying he wasn't comfortable, and that in this sport means a lot. That can mean so many different things. Eli Tomac, bud, we need a rebound. Good job staying to at least top 10, seeing guys like Mookie, Barcia, Craig behind you, and I don't know, you need to be better. I want him to be so much better. I wanted the revenge tour. I wanted the season of Eli Tomac. I wanted the 30-plus-year-old, or I'm not going to say like 33 in case it's too old, but man, oh me, Eli Tomac. Keep it coming, pal, and hopefully he gets himself in a groove, finds the right things, finds out that his bike gets comfortable with his old stuff. I don't know. He's got to do something. Like I said, all speculation, and yeah, hopefully he's good. I'm pulling for him. Now we can talk about the 250s. It's actually hours later for me than when I did the 450s. But yeah, first guy we're going to talk about here is Austin Forkner, who had a great night, day, whatever you want to call it. Forkner was very good, and I think he was very consistent over very good. I wouldn't really say like he was a dominator. He absolutely cooked the field. I wouldn't say all that, but Austin Forkner definitely has a good mindset. New offseason program, as he mentioned about 25 times before heading into that main event, even afterhand. So, after the fact. So Austin Forkner, definitely a rebound for him considering where he's been the rest of his career so far, whatever you want to say. But Forkner, nice rebound. He's here to play, and hopefully injuries stay away from him, knock on wood, obviously. Forkner is so very fun to watch, and definitely was. He was on his way to having an undefeated Supercross, tore his ACL. That was like way back when. So we're really happy to see him back up on his feet, and he obviously has a fresh mentality, and it's really nice to see. High ceiling for this guy, and he better watch out, because we're going to be talking about the his competitors that ended up struggling. Max Anstey, someone that was coming in with a lot of hype about a week before Detroit, and it was kind of just building through Europe over the offseason. Finally made it to America when I guess press day came around. Everyone was talking about Max Anstey and how good he's been riding, and how well it translated obviously here. So Max Anstey doing a great job, just sticking in this race, finding a second place finish, and starts his championship off great, actually, man. Max Anstey, probably the best start to a championship he's ever had and experienced in Supercross. So Max Anstey will look to be in the championship hunt early on here and see if he can really solidify his status as a guy in the 250 class. Doesn't fade like he has over the course of a season in the past. He has a little bit of fall off over the course of a season. He seems like he's very well in shape, riding really well, and I guess just Max Anstey, keep it rolling, fan favorite, and definitely one of mine. Daxton Bennick, my prediction is already coming true, where he might have a chance to be better than Hayden Teagan long run. I'm obviously kidding, but yeah, Dax Bennick, third place in his Supercross debut as a pro. Really surprising result in my opinion. I mean, obviously we're gonna talk about the guys that fell down early and really worked out of his way, like he I guess like got one gifted to him almost. Daxton Bennick, a very, very good 6 seconds off the lead, third place. So he wasn't too far out of touch. He had a pretty good fast lap that stacked up pretty well through all these guys. So Bennick, one to watch for sure as the season progresses. This kid is amazing, fun to watch, tall, leverage is his game, and I really like watching Dax Bennick and what he already has done here as a pro in just his first race after what I loved seeing in the Supercross futures. It's really nice that these guys get that early opportunity, and I like to do a little bit of scouting through there. My favorites were Juju Beaumare and Daxton Bennick. Obviously those were a lot of people's favorites. The second I laid eyes on Juju, I was curious who he was, and I'm not patting my own back here. I'm not stroking any of my ego. I'm kind of just letting you guys know that these guys promising, and they're really coming alive here. Beaumare showed flashes, and Bennett coming out getting a podium for his first ever Supercross is very impressive. Cody Schock, the guy that I know because of Jeff Walker. If you guys know who he is, yeah, I'd say famous, pretty well-known YouTuber in the moto community, and he actually trained and was a teammate with Cody Schock probably 3 or 4 years back. Saw him in one of his videos, and then his name only rose for me there, or from there. And Cody Schock just recently got a great opportunity here. He's on a YZ250F with a little bit of factory support there with the Club MX Yamaha team. Cody Schock is a guy. I honestly believe he can finish top 7 in this championship. It was not like a fluke here, top 4. He's always been a fun one to watch. So Cody Schock, probably one of the more underdogs of this, maybe underrated. You don't really hear about him much, but really came out, and I wouldn't say this is a surprise because of all the guys in front of him. You got to look like 1, 2, 3, which is Tom Vial, Hammaker, Ferry, Deegan, McAdoo, Hymus even are all below him, but was able to hold off a guy like Pierce Brown, who might have been wrapped up in that first crash. I couldn't tell you. And Jalik Swoll just under him, and I know he was wrapped up in the first crash. And Guillaume Ferris was the only guy. I feel like it was 100% legit. Cody Schock just did a good job. He was kind of in a tier of his own. Pierce Brown started to catch him late, but didn't stop him from getting a 4th place for the first result of this season. Like I said, I truly believe he can be a top 7 guy in this championship. Now, Pierce Brown at number 5. I've talked about him so much as such a this is gonna sound bad, but he's not a smart racer. Racecraft is not there. He showed it in the heat race, I believe, when he punted Jalik Swoll. I was ready for the reunion there for Jalik Swoll to try to get back at Pierce Brown. Never ended up happening. They did finish 5th and 6th, but yeah, Pierce Brown never been a favorite of mine. I know he's fast. He has his times and he has his heat wins, but never really puts a whole season together. He's injured. He's either really fast or really inconsistent, bad starter. Like, there's just, I hate to pile on, I do, because I love the sport, but to me, Pierce Brown is probably, bias aside, my least favorite guy to watch, honestly, in the 250 class, and especially on the east side. So my bad, Pierce. Sorry if I'm offending you, dude. I'm sure you won't take it to heart. You don't even know who I am. I don't have any reputation. I don't have a right or wrong in this situation. If anything, I'm wrong here, because who am I to be saying a top 5 guy and Pierce Brown is a bad racer, right? But you guys will understand. Just watch it. Go back and even watch Anaheim 2 or 3. It was the Triple Crown, I believe, last year, the first Triple Crown of the season. It really showed for me there. So, yeah, sorry, Pierce. Like I said, sorry if I'm ruffling feathers, all right? But I highly doubt I am. Like I said, who am I to talk about like a top 5 guy like this? But yeah, Pierce Brown, just my little tidbit on him, and I've said this before on the channel. Jalek Swole, the Triumph debut, in my opinion, went really well. I know the results probably aren't there, but Jalek Swole is probably looking at a 4th place finish had he stayed up, thinking he can get past guys like Pierce Brown and Cody Schock. Now, maybe not Pierce Brown, but could have at least gotten to him, and I'm sure he wouldn't be scared to run it in on Pierce Brown after the heat race, which he was in a good spot in. He was in a really good spot in the heat race. I can't remember exactly where he was, but like I said, a good spot, and just got punted off the side of the track or over a berm, and Jalek Swole ended up still transferring in, I believe, from the heat, and yeah, made the main event. First sign for first good sign for Triumph is he was a guy that came through the pack, and in my opinion was impressive. Now, Chance Hymas obviously getting hurt late. I'll go check an injury update before I talk about him, because apparently he's injured. We all know J Mart had an injury. Well, obviously we'll have to talk about those guys, but I'll have to go look and do my research first before I talk about it. But yeah, Jalek Swole really came out really impressed in his Triumph debut, and I'm really excited to see how he can dial in the bike as the season goes, see how he heads into next year, and I guess into motocross. And I'm most excited to see how the Triumph bike comes out next year, how it's kind of developed through this year to be ready for next year, because it's not a win now sort of thing. I don't think that's really where the expectation's at or has ever been at. So 6th place finish there for Jalek Swole. Now, the guy that took Jalek Swole's spot over there at Rockstar Husky, Guillaume Ferris, did a good job. He was fine. I wouldn't say he was the best guy ever. I think it's just his first Supercross race, and I think he was actually pretty good for it being his first Supercross race. So good for Guillaume Ferris, just getting the first one out of the way. The jitters out, and he was in no man's land pretty much. Still got beat by a guy like Henry Miller, who I'd like to see him kind of beat, or have the urgency to, I guess, bridge the final 5-second gap there that he had. So interesting situation we have with Guillaume going forward. I think he's a higher floor guy as a rookie. I don't think he'll really be like he has had some unfortunate luck with the injury at Thunder Valley over motocross, but I think he'll be fine and will be good. Only gets better as the season progresses, and not a whole lot else for me to hit on with Guillaume Ferris. Hopefully he meshes well with the Husqvarna for motocross. I don't really expect him to be a major player or in the top 5 consistently. So moving on, I guess. So just did my reading and researching up here. So Marshall Wilton, honorable mention. Henry Miller, honorable mention at 7th and 9th. But sorry, guys, we're not going to hit on you today, but we're going to go switch over courses here to Chance Hymas, who ends up finishing 10th. He was leading and looked like he was on track to win a heat race today, or I guess over the race. And, or I guess with his heat race, I apologize. I don't know why. I've been struggling to find the words. I've been pretty good up to now, where everything's falling apart here. But yeah, Chance Hymas did a good job getting a I guess salvaging what could have been absolutely terrible because of so he tore his ACL, I believe. I think that was the injury. He re-injured it. I don't know if he retore it. I doubt it, but maybe. And he re-injured it last week in practice or something, came in this week and was really just trying to salvage the weekend and live to die in the next 3 weeks or next 4 weeks when they have another few weeks off here after Detroit. So just looking to at least put numbers up on the board points wise, and he still did. He finished 10th, but he had a problem with his knee, and then really started to feel it by the end of that heat race, which then he fell to 4th, finished 4th in that heat race. Obviously still qualifies you right in to the main event, where he would miss all of the contact there on the first corner carnage. And yeah, Chance Hymas went on to do really good, trailing Austin Forkner for probably 10 laps or so, maybe more than that. And then 2 to go, he ends up falling off the bike, and like I said, ended up 10th overall. So Chance Hymas, a rough go at it and a rough start to his career, but man, oh me, I love watching Chance. I know people are kind of lower on him, surprisingly. I feel like there's no reason for him to be rated or seen as low as people are right now. It's kind of bizarre to me. But yeah, Chance Hymas at 10th, I'd say is a okay result considering what could have happened, or what I guess what the possibility and ceiling. I mean, he did a good job. Next guy we'll hit on is 14th place finisher Nick Romano, who was able to get up and pass both Deegan or McAdoo, or I think he was actually up before those guys, and just finished a bit further back there in 14th. He's a star guy. His bike was, I'm sure, damaged, and just again salvaging points, and his rookie debut, I actually believe that was I think, right? I could definitely be wrong on that, but yeah, I think this is Romano's first Supercross race. He's an experienced rookie, as I like to say. So Nick Romano, can't really give you guys an evaluation yet, but we'll see. Same thing with Cam McAdoo at 15th, went balls out. That's so funny. It's good that he can laugh about it. Him and his wife, Maddie McAdoo, and Cameron McAdoo, they have a YouTube channel. Go over and watch it. It's a really good channel. They kind of recapped it for us with their most recent vlog, and it was fun to watch, so I definitely recommend watching that. But if you guys don't know, Cameron McAdoo went down in the first corner. He took a handlebar to the front of the pants and ripped literally through the pants and through his underwear, and everything was out for pretty much the moto. So poor Cam, honestly, it's kind of an embarrassing thing, but at the end of the day, you just got to laugh about it. And I feel like the moto community is the best place to have something like this happen. So that's really good for Cam. And then Hayden Deegan was also involved in the first corner crash, and falsely, I'm sure, flipped someone off that he thought did it. I'm all for Deegan, right? I love the rider, I love the guy, but I don't know. I don't think the finger was warranted. He's trying to stir stuff up, you know. Like, I get it, right? Like, he plays a role. It's Hayden Deegan for F's sake, you know. But it's once he matures, he's gonna be so good, and in my opinion, more enjoyable to I don't know if I gotta pick my words like pretty good here, because there's a lot of Hayden Deegan lovers out there. I should say, not to tolerate, but to consistently watch, I should say. Hayden Deegan, to root for him. I'm on the Deegan train. I love the kid. Great potential, amazing rider, and I think just once he matures a little bit and maybe grows ahead of his own, because he takes a lot of influence from his dad. I'm not going to say wrongfully so. His dad is not only a business genius, just a good guy in general, and you can tell that really comes out in Hayden and in Brian. So happy for the family, but I don't know, that whole flipping off incident there, I just, is what it is. It's racing. You're in the heat of the moment, but you just, how does he know who did it? Maybe he sees Vial hit him. It doesn't mean it's Vial's fault. Most of the time on first corners, there's pile-ups, and you know it's probably not the first guy. Now, this is speculation. I don't know who he flipped off, but I'm sure it was not unwarranted, but I'm sure it was falsely pointed. And yeah, Hayden Deegan, oh, it sucks, you know, his bars got bent. It's not only racing, it's unlucky, and I'm not gonna say it was deserving, but I hope not to see. I haven't watched the vlog yet, but I hope his temper isn't up, and I hope his mental stays a little bit calm, heads in with confidence. He always holds his head high. Thing I really like about Deegan. So up and down report on Deegan this week, but I'm sure he'll come back and better than ever next round, and look to punch his, oh, not next round, I guess, yeah, next 250 East round, but that won't be next weekend. So Hayden Deegan, next time we see him out on the track, hopefully he's fully rebounded, and it doesn't sound like there was any injury to him either, just a bent bar issue there. So Hayden Deegan, looking forward to a rebound from him. In 18th, Tom Vial, I mentioned he was slung off his bike, kind of ended up, I think, diving into Deegan on the start there after a high-speed first corner crash. Obviously, you guys have all seen it. Seth Hammaker and Evan Ferry both DNFs due to that crash. Evan Ferry probably got the worst part of that. Hammaker's bike was a little bit toast. His mechanic had to kick it there in the pits and whatnot. So yeah, that'll be all for me. Thank you for watching. If you guys enjoyed, go ahead and like, go down, subscribe, go watch the past content on the channel, and that once again will do it for me. If you guys watched all the way to the end, it means a lot. Deuces.